Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here at Kokumlemle in a Crown digital address GA099-3341 on Joy 99.7 FM. It's also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country, on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, DigiBank. Let's go. Coming up, mountain questions as President Akufo-Addo meets Ghana's top journalists later today.
How is he going to sustain the free SHS?
There's no money in the system. So what's the government doing so that money will flow in the system?
Also, Shrash petitioned over a 16-year-old girl who died at the Tamale Teaching Hospital because her parents could not pay a processing fee of 108 Ghana cedis.
That is, I wanted to kill one of them because the way the daughter is done is paid me.
We'll bring you more there. And also, defiant traders vow to occupy pavements and road shoulders until after Christmas, forcing Kumasi city authorities to abandon a planned opening of access roads to the market. And in sports,
Kumasi Asante Kotoko officials have seized the camera of a Togolese journalist for filming their training match this morning. Also, one trending news is that Manchester United have appointed former striker Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as the their stopgap manager after the sacking of Jose Mourinho Benes.
And later in this bulletin,
it was great. We had a lot of fun. There were a lot of video games, my favorite.
We're going to give away refrigerators, we're going to give away air conditioners, we're going to give away mobile phones.
It's a Joy FM family party in the park coming off this Saturday with lots of surprises and prizes for patrons. I'm Bernice Abubeidu-Lansa. Thanks for joining me. The details now. President Akufo-Addo is today expected to provide answers to the many questions on the minds of Ghanaians after 2 years at the helm of affairs. The government has over the period been rocked by a number of corruption scandals, from the multi-million-dollar Kelny GVG contract to the purchase of a chancery at $12 million in Oslo, Norway. Joy News looks at the major questions needing answers ahead of the encounter with the media later this evening.
I wish we had been able to do certain things much faster and the entire government machinery move more quickly, because, as I said, I'm in a hurry.
President Akufo-Addo, 11 months ago, assessing the pace of fulfilling his many promises to pressmen. This was after 1 year in office. Today, another dose of that assessment will be given, and top of the agenda will be the myriad of corruption scandals that have rocked the government over the period. Mary Awelena is programs manager of the GII.
We at the Ghana Integrity Initiative are also scandalized by recent reports that some government appointees and ministers of state are withholding information from the police and Attorney General's department.
The issues include the $74 million waste bins contract with the Jospon Group, the 98 million cedi fumigation contract with the same entity, the National Sports Authority visa racketeering scandal, the GFA corruption scandal, and the $90 million Ghana Bauxite Company penalty evasion. Some answers will be needed.
The haphazard implementation of the free SHS is causing a lot of anxiety and inconvenience to students and their parents and guardians.
Where President Akufo-Addo has disagreed with this assessment.
Let me burst their bubble again. Free SHS is here to stay.
And it's expected that the free SHS debate will see a semblance of closure. Questions about sustainable sources of funding the increasing number of students, plus how soon issues with the double-track system can be addressed, are likely to come up.
Essentially, we have arrested it. and the IGP has the key. She's locked it up.
This was at a time the cedi was trading at 4 cedis 27 pesos to $1. At a current figure of 4 cedis 89 pesos, one cannot help but ask President Akufo-Addo how soon the IGP will embark on a manhunt of what appears to be a currency at large. On job creation, President Akufo-Addo must provide some fine details on how many factories are up and running and jobs created so far.
I wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, knowing fully well that most Ghanaian families are going to go through the driest Christmas they have ever experienced in the history of Ghana.
So how wet or dry the Christmas would be would largely be dependent on stable supply of electricity. Ghanaians will need some assurance from the president. The over $12 million drone and another $12 million Oslo Chancery facility debate, which have dominated the headlines over the past 2 weeks, must receive a presidential response.
You heard that, a news desk report looking ahead to the president's meeting with top journalists in the country later today. Well, let's now listen to some of you sharing what you expect journalists to ask the president.
Only one question. How is he going to sustain the free SHS program? Because a lot of Ghanaians have put their trust in him for that. And there are a lot of doubting Thomases out there. So if he is able to answer that question, it will give us the clear idea of where or the direction that we are heading towards.
I want to ask Mr. President is that nowadays people are complaining too much. There's no money in the system. There's no money in the system. So what's the government doing so that money will flow in the system? That's only my question I want to ask the president.
We, the aged ones, the pensioners, some of us, our pay that we get in the middle of the month, that is on the 18th, is very small. If I don't have children to help me, then now I'm from hospital. Health insurance is not covering all the medicine. So what is the president doing to help us?
Everywhere in Accra is very choked. People, you can move here and there. Everybody wants to come to Accra to buy something. Why wouldn't the president develop the different regions, other regions like Upper East or any other region, so that the people there wouldn't come to Accra?
You heard there's some Ghanaians sharing what they would expect journalists to ask the president later today when he meets the press. We'll be bringing you that encounter live here on Joy 99.7 FM, also on the Joy News channel on Multi TV, DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. The time is 5 p.m. Do make a date. Now, the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice has been petitioned by Northern Region-based NGO League of Youth over the death of a 16-year-old girl. She died at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. Her parents accused doctors at the facility of refusing to carry out critical blood transfusion because they could not pay a processing fee of 108 Ghana cedis. It took almost 12 hours before health officials at the hospital attended to the patient. But it was too late. She died. John Yusuf Kwetunati has more.
Abdul Rahman Yusuf lost his 16-year-old daughter, Abdul Rahama Shakina, at the same hospital. The heavily built man's eyes well with tears as he tries to recount what happened 2 months ago. But the anger will not let him.
That days, I wanted to kill one of them because the way the daughters done it's pain me.
What did they do?
Because the time we sent our daughter to the hospital, that was 8 o'clock. You see that time. So we are begging the doctor sent me to buy everything. Spot time you send me to others some place, go and buy this thing. We went there and done it and buy it. After that, he sent another person. They will just send you everywhere. So the time, I can't explain anything.
On the 18th of September this year, he rushed his daughter to the Tamale Teaching Hospital. Doctors diagnosed her daughter as anemic and needed blood transfusion. They arrived at the hospital around 9:30 p.m. The health workers assured them they would carry this procedure in an hour, but delayed the process of getting the blood till 3 a.m. and further delayed the transfusion till 9 a.m. Almost 12 hours of waiting. This was because he said the doctors demanded 108 cedis before the blood would be transfused. But parents of the girl were told plainly that without money, they would not take care of her. Yakubu Amama is the mother and narrates the painful event.
They said that we need blood emergency, so we should go and buy the blood. And we went and buy the blood. and do lab tests, everything. We do it. And the time that they are going to use the blood for the girl, they say that we should go and pay 1.8. That time my husband was not having money again. He's left with 20 CD on his pocket. And he just told them that we don't have money again, so they should give us that medicine that they are going to use for the child, so that tomorrow he will bring the money. And they said that if we don't have money, then they will not do anything. If we are ready to trace our child, then we should go and bring the money.
The dying moment of her daughter still haunts her every night. If only she could get justice, she would have a semblance of closure.
When I came back around 9 going to 10, I didn't see my girl. And I was asking them, where is my girl? Where is my girl? And somebody told me that they pushed the girl inside. And I went there. When I went there, I saw them using the blood. That time that they give her the blood and oxygen at once.
And it appears there's very little effort by the authorities at the hospital to deal with the situation. Winusa of the League of Youth has petitioned Shraj, hoping the issue would be investigated.
That is the case that we are pursuing. So we are pursuing Shraj to investigate that case so that those who are found culpable can be dealt with according to the law.
You heard that report put together by Kwetenate. Well, he joins me in the studio with details of the petition to Shraj. So what is the League of Youth asking Shraj to investigate?
Benis, the petition stated that some health workers were negligent and rude to patients. They indicated that they are always on their phones and they do not care about the condition of patients when they visit the facility. They cited the case of this 16-year-old girl who died, saying the family arrived at the hospital around 9:30 p.m. The health workers assured them that they will carry out this procedure in an hour, but delayed the process of getting the blood till 3 a.m. and further delayed the transfusion till 9 a.m., which led to the death of the girl.
They also raised concerns with doctors at the hospital referring patients to their private facilities.
Yeah, they also want Shraj to probe the referral of patients to a private clinic they mentioned in their petition. They complained that some of the doctors are engaged in the practice of referring patients to other private hospitals, which is very unusual. So as a result of these issues, they are appealing to the commission to look into these matters and then sanction those, involved.
But Kwete, you spoke to Chief Executive Officer of the hospital, David Akolbila, talking about the Tamale Teaching Hospital, especially with regards to this 16-year-old girl's death. And he says the hospital is not aware.
Yes, Benis, that's what he told me in an interview.
No, it hasn't come to my attention yet. But what we do is that we have all the departments have clinical meetings that they review, and we have mortality meetings where they review the deaths. And if there was an issue that needed management attention, they would have brought it up. But I think it's at the clinical level. We haven't had that report in this office.
When this issue is brought to your attention, is the hospital management willing to investigate such a matter, because it's already at Shraj?
The issue about medical care and the astuteness to care is of concern to us. And if there's mention of something that may be suboptimal care of any sort, is investigated medically, even including inviting senior experts from other facilities to review along with us to establish whether the case was poorly managed on medical grounds or it was actually done according to the circumstances and the available resources.
You had Chief Executive Officer of the Tamale Teaching Hospital, David Akolbila, speaking to my colleague Kwetenate there. To some other stories, the Ghana Police Service says an Uber driver seen in a viral video struggling with some of its men has lodged an official complaint at the Soltone police station. Police say the two well-built men have also been identified as community police assistants. Maxwell Agbagba has more.
About 5 cars are parked on the sides of the road in an area very close to the Pentecost University in Soweto. They are unable to move because the confrontation between the two community police assistants and the Uber driver is happening right in the middle of the streets. A woman in one of the cars starts filming the struggle between the 3 men. The Uber driver appears to be crying. His face looks it, but with no visible tears. One of the community policemen holds his white sleeveless shirt from the back as he tries to drag him into a waiting car. His colleague also joins to help him drag the Uber driver. The Ghana Police Service says the Uber driver has lodged a formal complaint of the tussle. According to police, the men seen in the video have been identified as community police assistants as the investigations continue. Police is assuring the public they are committed to carrying out their mandate with the mission to deliver services in crime prevention, detection, apprehension, and prosecution of offenders consistent with international best standards by respecting the human rights of all and in adherence to professional police practices.
Maxwell Agbagba with that report. Now, residents of mining communities in the Ashanti region say they anticipate a bounce back of economic activities after government lifted the ban on small-scale mining. Most of the once vibrant economic hubs became ghost towns during the 22-month restriction. Nana Sense-Mensah traveled to the Amansia area to gauge the mood of the people there and how registered miners are gearing up to return to work.
Apart from cocoa farming, mining is our only way of life. So the ban on the small-scale mining really affected us. But we are happy that the ban has been lifted at last. We are ready and willing to pay taxes.
In some other mining communities, however, miners have started clearing bush paths to make way for the long-awaited business to resume.
Where
we are mining now is not close to any water body. We have dug wells to supply water to wash the gold. We mine responsibly and we are very friendly to the environment. We want government to issue us a license to operate and monitor our activities. This is our only source of livelihood.
Others have begun greasing their rusty excavators and other earth-moving equipment left idle during the long break. Artisans in some areas are assembling their tools at the sites. Before the ban on small-scale mining, this particular fuel station was very vibrant.
We are selling diesel and this petrol. But as they banned the small-scale miners, all the work collapsed. So now, as we hear that they have lifted the ban, we are trying to bring another bill so that we can also do something small.
So it is expected that this business and other businesses within this mining community will come back to life as the ban on small-scale mining has been lifted. My name is Nana Sense-Mensah.
Still in the Ashanti region, but on the capital, Kumasi, city authorities have abandoned the planned opening of access roads to the Kejetia market because traders have refused to move out. The city authorities plan to open these access roads to ease congestion there. The traders have vowed to occupy roads day and night to conduct their businesses until after Christmas. Now, there are reports some of them carried their bluff, spending nights on the road after a face-off with authorities over the weekend. Nanaya Ojima visited the market and reports.
Motorists and commuters have endured vehicular and human congestion for the past 3 years when work began on the Kejetia market. It's however been a blessing in disguise for traders who took over the road to do business. With about 95% of work done, authorities believe opening the road to traffic, at least for the festive period, will bring some relief. When traders had a hint of the planned initiative, they decided to pitch camp there and have defied an order to quit. They questioned the decision of city authorities to create space for vehicles at their expense when the market itself is yet to open. Some of them are reported to have stayed on the road overnight on Saturday, insisting on a simultaneous opening of the market and roads. We know we are trading in the middle of the road. Yes, we have to make way for vehicles to use the road, but we have invested a lot of money into our businesses, especially for Christmas. it is unfair to make us lose these amounts. We have slept in the cold and endured mosquitoes because we don't want to lose this space. The mayor and his task force are witnesses to that. We will protect this space until we are out of words. It was business as usual for traders when we visited the site on Monday. Authorities were forced to remove barricades, creating more space for both recalcitrant traders and pedestrians. Public Relations Officer at Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, Godwin Okumanyame, speaks of alternatives.
Now we are holding on for us to review it, and by so doing we're going to intensify our education to see the way forward before.
As more people move to the city center to shop for Christmas and traders taking over the pavements, there are fears of a stampede as happened earlier in the year. Attempts by Joy News to get cameras into central markets through the 18 lane yielded no positive results. Just like many others coming into Central Market, we had to abandon the course because the congestion or the crowd was too thick that we couldn't get our cameras through. Many people are also abandoning their quest to get to Central Market because of the heavy congestion here. My name is Nanaya Ojima, reporting.
You're listening to the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Bernice Abubeidu-Lansa. Still to come.
It was great. We had a lot of fun. There were a lot of video games, my favorite.
We're going to give away refrigerators, we're going to give away air conditioners, we're going to give away mobile phones.
It's the Joy FM family party in the park coming off this Saturday with lots of surprises and prizes for patrons.
On Thursday, 27th of December 2018, from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., all registered voters of the Ahafo, Bono East, North East, Savannah, Western North, and the OT areas will go to their various polling stations
to vote yellow for yes or brown for no to decide whether the new regions should be created or not.
All registered voters in the proposed areas, as well as persons who transferred their votes to the areas, are eligible to vote. If the device fails to verify you as the person on the register, you will be taken through a manual verification process once you have your details in the register. And the biometric verification device, BVD, has successfully scanned your barcode. The voter will then be issued a ballot paper, which will require the voter to vote
either yellow for yes or brown for no.
After receiving the ballot paper, the voter must proceed to the voting screen and vote for only one issue.
To vote yellow for yes or brown for no to decide whether the new regions should be created or not.
A voter can talk to the presiding officer if they have any challenges. Remember, the voting process will be at the Hafu, Bono East,
North East,
Savannah, Western North, and the OT areas on Thursday, 27 December 2018 from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Vote early to avoid any disappointments. Your vote is your power.
Thanks so much for staying here on the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. It's now time to know what's happening in the world of sports. Ridwan Asante.
Yes, we have news from Manchester United to come in a jiffy, but first, there was some tension at the training ground of Kumasi Asante Kotoko this morning as officials were involved in a melee with a Togolese journalist who was filming their training match with Asokwa Deportivo without permission. Now, there's suspicion that he could be working for Kenyan side Kariobangi Sharks, who they play this Saturday in Kumasi in the return leg of the CAF Confederation Cup. Love FM's Kelvin Uswansa has more.
It was during the second half of the game that a section of the fans who were present to watch the training game saw a journalist with a camera filming the game, and they approached the management to talk to that journalist to stop, which the operations manager, Perusha, that is Mr. Isaac Donko, together with some other technical people of the Asante Kotoko team, approached him and seized the camera. And it was later found that he was a Togolese journalist. He's refusing to give us his name, but we are still trying to get his name for us. He said that he came for the Ghana Black Meteors game against Togo yesterday at the Barbara Sports Stadium and took an opportunity to visit the training grounds of Kotoko, since it's a big club in Ghana, to have a look at the training session. And he decided to take pictures and videos of it. But now his camera has been seized. And the reason why the camera has been seized by Kotoko is that they suspect that the journalist from Togo is working for Kariobangi Sharks, and he's trying to film the game to give it to their opponent to prepare for the game on Saturday.
Kevin Owusu Ansade from Love FM reporting from the Kotoko training grounds there. Now, it's road to recovery for Manchester United after parting ways with Jose Mourinho as coach yesterday. The club have moved to appoint former striker Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as interim manager, and he's supposed to lead the team in their next league match. That's their match against Cardiff City. Apparently, Cardiff City happens to be a side that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer handled before in the Premier League, before returning to Norway to take charge of Midday.
Thank you, Ridwan Asante there with the latest from the world of sports. Have you marked it on your calendar? Well, you should. It's this Saturday, 22nd December 2018. The Joy FM Family Party in the Park is coming off at the Legon Botanical Garden from 8 a.m. Now, hear from these children who were at last year's event.
It was great. We had a lot of fun. There were a lot of video games, my favorite. And
it definitely wasn't tiring.
Yes.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
And so what are you expecting this year?
More people to come because it's it brings families together.
Sure.
And if you left your old school and you have friends in there and you want to meet them again, you can meet them at the family party in the park.
So did you make new friends last year?
Yeah.
Kojo, why do you want to go to family party in the park?
There'll be a lot of fun and I'll get more friends. My parents and I will get closer more. They don't get much time because they go to work.
So at least during the family party in the park, you grab them so that you have more time with them, isn't it? Abna, is that the same for you?
Yes.
Okay, so have you also been at family party in the park before?
No.
So this year you'll be attending live and colored. What are your expectations?
I want to have fun. Sack race. Musical chairs. Water race. And etc.
And etc.
Well, you had some kids there who were at last year's event. Well, Managing Director of Sales here at Multimedia, Max Fuga, shares what patrons should expect at this year's event.
There are a lot of new things we've introduced. Talent Hunt, Family Got Talent, Treasure Hunt, music competition, Christmas carol singing competition. But the most important thing, we're going to introduce a program there called Santa in the Park. We're going to give out a lot of freebies. I will even appeal to the working class that they are coming, they should bring along their call cards. Okay, we're going to give away refrigerators, we're going to give away air conditioners, we're going to give away mobile phones, we're going to give away TV sets. We have a sponsor who is offering Ghanaian jollof for the kids. You may be lucky to go home with a 65-inch television. We are creating specialized or designated areas where if you just want to have a quiet time with your family, you also have that opportunity to have a quiet time with the family. So everything Christmas will be there.
Max Fuga is Managing Director of Sales here at Multimedia. It's 25 CDs for a family of 6. Remember, it's this Saturday, December 22 at the Legon Botanical Garden. Come join the fun and unwind and win wonderful prizes too. Now, my colleague Mapito CBD is here with what's trending, but we have to cross over to Parliament now because there's a development regarding that near fisticuff involving Foreign Affairs Minister Shelia Yokobotre and Ningo Prampram MP Sam George. Joseph Opoku Gakpo is a man on the ground. Joseph, what's this latest development we are hearing?
So Samuel George tells us that after the incident, he got a call personally from the Foreign Affairs Minister Shelia Yokobotre apologizing. You would recall that Sam George had indicated he was taking the matter up at the level of the Speaker of Parliament. He said following the apology, he's not doing that anymore. He's letting sleeping dogs fly.
Joseph Opoku Gakpo there with the latest from Parliament. It's now time to know what's trending. Mapita CPD is here.
All right, let's go to @Dean Jones BR and says possibly the best thing about Solskjaer taking charge is that he'll know what Lukaku needs to get him scoring goals again. And @J Ronnie Johnson says so unbelievable, happy to see Ole Gunnar as the new manager of Man United. So proud of him.
And that's how we end this edition of the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Benes Abubeidulansa. Before I leave our top story, mounting questions as President Akufo-Addo meets Ghana's top journalists later today. Don't forget it's live here on the Joy channel, on radio, on TV and online at 5 p.m. Do make a date. But there's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Enjoy the rest of your day.
dashing